My beloved child, listen carefully, because this message has found you at the exact moment your soul needed it most, and nothing about this is random or accidental. Everything you want is waiting on the other side of your courage, and right now you are standing at the edge of a breakthrough you cannot yet see, but you can feel it inside your heart as a quiet pull, as a restlessness, as a deep desire for more, because your spirit knows what your mind still questions, and God says, do not quit now, because the road behind you already proved how strong you are, and the road ahead is opening in ways you cannot yet imagine. And even though you feel tired and uncertain and sometimes alone, you are not being left behind, you are being prepared, because preparation often feels like delay, and growth often feels like discomfort, and courage often feels like fear before it feels like power, and you have been learning to walk through that fear without letting it control you, and this is why your life is changing. Because you are changing from the inside, and when you change within, the world must respond, because your energy, your beliefs, your choices are shaping your future even when you cannot see it yet. And you may wonder why the struggle lasted so long, why the doors closed, why people left, why plans failed. But God says every closed door redirected you, every loss refined you, every delay strengthened you, because you were not ready for what you were asking for before. And now you are becoming someone who can hold it with wisdom and gratitude and balance and strength, and you are learning that success without peace is empty, and love without respect is painful, and dreams without courage remain wishes. And you are no longer here to wish, you are here to rise. And courage does not mean you feel no fear, it means you move forward even when fear is present, because fear is only a signal that you are stepping beyond your comfort, and your comfort is not where your destiny lives. Your destiny lives in growth, in effort, in consistency, in faith, and you have already proven that you can survive the storm. Now you are learning how to walk in the sunlight without doubting your worth, and this is why you must not quit now, because you are closer than you think, even if the path still looks long, even if the answers are not clear, even if your heart feels heavy, because heaviness is not weakness, it is depth, and depth is where transformation begins. And you are transforming slowly, quietly, powerfully, and one day you will look back and realize that this moment was the turning point, the moment you decided to keep going even when everything in you wanted to stop. And God says the life you are praying for is not far, it is forming around you, responding to your courage, responding to your persistence, responding to your willingness to grow. And you are not late, you are not broken, you are not behind, you are becoming, and becoming is a process, not a destination. And every step you take, no matter how small, is moving you closer to the life your soul has always known was possible. And this is your reminder that your story is not over, your best days are not behind you, your strength is not gone, your light is not fading, your purpose is not lost, it is waiting on the other side of your courage. And courage is rising inside you now as you read these words, because something within you recognizes the truth, and this truth is that you were never meant to stay where you were meant to evolve, to rise, to heal, to grow, to become more than you ever believed you could be. And God says, trust this moment, trust this feeling, trust this calling, because it is guiding you toward a life that will make every tear, every struggle, every delay make sense. And you will see that quitting would have taken you away from everything you were becoming, and staying is what will lead you into everything you were born to be. There are moments when you feel like your strength is fading, when your heart feels heavy and your mind is filled with questions, and God says this is not the end of your energy, this is the beginning of your awareness, because when you become aware of how tired you are, you also become aware of how much you have carried alone, and you have carried more than anyone realizes, more than you ever admitted to yourself, and still you are standing, still you are hoping, still you are trying, still, and this is proof that your spirit is stronger than your circumstances, and everything you are facing now is shaping the courage you will need for the next level of your life, because the blessings you are asking for will require a version of you who is emotionally grounded, mentally focused, and spiritually strong, and this season is training you for that reality, even when it feels slow, even when it feels painful, even when it feels confusing, because growth is rarely comfortable, but it is always purposeful, and you are learning that your value is not measured by how fast you succeed, but by how deeply you believe in yourself when nothing around you has changed yet. And God says faith is not believing when it is easy, it is choosing to trust when you cannot see the outcome, and this choice is rewriting your future, because the moment you stop doubting yourself, you start aligning with your destiny, and this alignment will shift your relationships, your opportunities, your mindset, and your confidence, because you no longer settle for what drains you, you no longer chase what hurts you, you no longer accept what disrespects you, and this clarity is your protection, because when you know your worth, you no longer negotiate your peace, and you are stepping into a season where you choose progress over perfection, patience over pressure, purpose over fear, and this decision will carry you through the days when motivation fades, because discipline rooted in self-respect is what sustains courage, and God says do not quit now. There is a quiet fire inside you that refuses to die, even when your body feels tired and your mind feels overwhelmed, and God says this fire is your purpose calling you forward even when you feel like standing still, because the soul always knows when it is time to grow, and what you are feeling now is not restlessness, it is readiness, not confusion, it is awakening, not weakness, it is transformation, and transformation never begins with comfort, it begins with discomfort, because comfort keeps you where you are, but courage moves you where you are meant to be, and everything you want is waiting on the other side of your courage, even when fear whispers that you are not ready, even when doubt tries to convince you that you are too late, too broken, too far behind. God says those voices are not truth, they are echoes of old wounds that no longer define you, and you are learning to recognize the difference between who you were and who you are becoming, because becoming is a process that requires patience, self-trust, and surrender, not surrender to defeat, but surrender to growth, to learning, to releasing control and allowing life to shape you into someone stronger than your past and wiser than your pain, and every struggle you survived has built a layer of resilience inside you even when you did not notice it, because survival teaches you endurance, but healing teaches you direction, and now you are moving from survival into purpose, from fear into faith, from reaction into intention, and this shift is why your life feels unfamiliar, because you are stepping into a new version of yourself, and new versions require new choices, new boundaries, new habits, new courage, and courage is not loud, it is quiet, steady, and persistent. It is choosing to stand up one more time, choosing to try again, choosing to believe again even when nothing around you has changed yet, because belief is the seed of every miracle, and God says your belief is growing even when you feel unsure, because uncertainty does not cancel faith, it strengthens it by forcing you to trust without proof, and this trust is what is opening doors you cannot see yet, aligning people you have not met yet, creating opportunities that will arrive when you are ready, not when you are desperate. And this is why waiting feels heavy, because you are learning patience, not passive patience but active patience, the kind that prepares the heart to receive with wisdom, gratitude and humility. And you are learning that the journey is shaping you just as much as the destination, because the life you are asking for will require grounding and self-respect, and this season is building those qualities inside you through lessons that feel difficult now but will feel meaningful later. And you will one day understand why you had to walk through this path, why you had to feel this pain, why you had to learn these lessons, because they are making you someone who can hold peace without fear, who can hold success without losing yourself, who can love without abandoning your boundaries. And this is growth, the kind that lasts, the kind that transforms not just your circumstances but your identity. And God says your identity is no longer rooted in what you lost or who left or what failed. It is rooted in who you are becoming, and who you are becoming is stronger than who you were. And you are learning to trust yourself again, to trust your decisions, to trust your intuition, to trust your timing, because self-trust is the foundation of courage, and courage is the bridge between where you are and where you are meant to be. And you are walking this bridge one step at a time, even when your legs shake, even when your heart races, even when your mind doubts, because movement creates momentum, and momentum creates change, and change creates clarity, and clarity creates peace, and peace is what you have been seeking, not in the world but within yourself. And God says peace is not the absence of problems, it is the presence of purpose, the understanding that every challenge is shaping you for something greater. And this understanding will carry you through moments of loneliness, moments of uncertainty, moments of fear, because you are no longer walking blindly, you are walking with awareness, and awareness transforms pain into wisdom, and wisdom into strength, and strength into courage, and courage into destiny. And your destiny is not a single moment, it is a series of choices you make every day. To keep going, to keep believing, to keep growing even when it is hard. And God says do not quit now, because what is coming will make sense of everything you endured, and one day you will look back and realize that this was the season that changed you forever. When the soul realizes that staying the same hurts more than changing, and this is that moment for you, because everything you have been feeling lately, the restlessness, the heaviness, the quiet pull towards something more, is not weakness, it is your spirit asking you to rise. And God says you were never created to live in survival mode forever, you were created to grow, to expand, to become someone who lives with purpose and clarity. And this is why you're old. Life no longer feels comfortable, because you are outgrowing it, and outgrowing something does not mean it was wrong, it means it has completed its role in your story, and now you are stepping into a new chapter that requires courage, because the unknown feels frightening, but it is also where possibility lives, and everything you want is waiting on the other side of your courage, even when fear tells you to stay, even when doubt tries to hold you back, because fear is only the shadow of growth, and growth always appears before change. And you are learning to trust the process, not because it is easy but because you are ready to evolve, and you are becoming more aware of your thoughts, your emotions, your choices. And this awareness is power, because it allows you to respond instead of react, to choose instead of settle, to move forward instead of remain stuck. And God says this is how transformation begins, not in grand moments but in quiet decisions made every day, to honor your truth, to protect your peace, to believe in yourself even when no one else does, and as you continue on this path you will realize that your past did not break you, it prepared you, and your pain did not destroy you, it refined you, and your journey did not delay you, it aligned you, and this alignment is guiding you toward a future that feels lighter, stronger, and more meaningful, and one day you will look back and see that this was the moment you chose courage over comfort, and that choice changed everything. Being formed within you now a courage that is not loud or dramatic but steady and unshakable, a courage that does not need applause or approval because it is rooted in self-respect and clarity, and God says this courage is being built through every silent battle you have fought, through every night you stayed awake questioning your direction, through every moment you felt unseen, misunderstood, or undervalued and still chose to continue, because continuing when no one notices is the truest form of strength, and this strength is changing you from the inside even when the outside still looks the same, because transformation begins internally before it becomes visible externally, and you are in that invisible phase where seeds are growing under the surface, where roots are forming, where your foundation is being strengthened for a life that will require emotional stability, mental focus, and spiritual grounding. And this is why your current season feels slow, heavy, or uncertain, because you are not being delayed, you are being fortified, and fortification takes time, because everything that is meant to last must be built with intention, not haste, and you are learning to release the need for instant results, because instant does not mean enduring, and God says patience is not about waiting, it is about becoming someone who can handle what you are asking for, and you are becoming that person through lessons that feel difficult now but will feel meaningful later, because growth often disguises itself as struggle, and you are learning to see the purpose within the pain, to find the lesson within the loss, to discover the strength within the weakness, and this awareness is shifting how you experience life, because you are no longer asking why is this happening to me, you are asking what is this teaching me, and this shift is the doorway to wisdom, because wisdom is not gained through comfort, it is gained through reflection and resilience, and you are developing both. And this development is preparing you for opportunities that will require discernment, for relationships that will require boundaries, for responsibilities that will require discipline, and this is why your spirit is being refined, because refinement removes what is unnecessary so that what remains is strong, pure, and aligned, and you are shedding old beliefs that told you that you were not enough, that you had to prove yourself, that you had to earn love, and God says your worth is inherent. It is not something you achieve, it is something you recognize, and when you recognize your worth, you stop shrinking, you stop apologizing for your needs, you stop accepting what dishonors you, and this self-respect is changing the way you move through the world, because you are no longer driven by fear of rejection, you are guided by commitment to your truth, and truth creates peace, not because life becomes perfect, but because your heart becomes grounded, and a grounded heart is not easily shaken by circumstances, because it knows that challenges are temporary but purpose is eternal, and you are reconnecting with your purpose not as a job or a title but as a way of being, as a commitment to live authentically, to grow intentionally, to love deeply without losing yourself, and this purpose is guiding you even when you cannot see the full path, because faith is not about seeing the destination, it is about trusting the direction, and you are learning to trust again, to trust yourself, to trust the process, to trust that everything is unfolding as it should even when it feels slow, because slow growth is strong growth and strong growth creates lasting change, and this is the kind of change you are experiencing, a change that will not fade when life becomes difficult, a change that will not disappear when comfort returns, a change that is rooted in who you are becoming, and who you are becoming is courageous, resilient, aware and aligned, and this alignment will guide you through future challenges with grace and confidence, because you will know that you have walked through darkness and found light, that you have felt lost and found your way, and this knowing is your power, because when you know you can overcome, you are not afraid to try, and this freedom to try is the gateway to everything you want, because everything you want is waiting on the other side of your courage, and courage is no longer something you search for, it is something you are becoming, and as you continue to walk this path, remember that your journey is not meant to look like anyone else's. Your timing is not meant to match anyone else's. Your story is not meant to follow anyone else's script, because you are creating something uniquely yours, something shaped by your experiences, your lessons, your growth, and this uniqueness is your strength, because the world does not need another copy, it needs your authenticity, your perspective, your light, and God says your light is needed even when you feel unsure, even when you feel small, even when you feel ordinary, because ordinary moments become extraordinary when lived with purpose, and you are learning to live with purpose now, to make choices that honor your future, to release what no longer serves you, to step into what aligns with your soul. And this is not the end of your story, it is the beginning of a new chapter, one written with courage, faith and self-trust, and one day you will look back and realize that this season was not a burden, it was a blessing in disguise, preparing you for a life that feels lighter, freer and more meaningful than you ever imagined. Where you no longer fight yourself, you no longer doubt every choice, you no longer carry guilt for choosing peace, and God says this is growth, because growth is when your heart and your actions begin to align, and when alignment happens, life feels lighter even when challenges remain, because you are no longer divided inside, and this inner unity is your greatest strength, because when you stand with yourself, the world cannot easily shake you, and you are learning that your past was not a prison, it was a classroom, and every lesson you learned there is now guiding you forward with wisdom rather than fear, and you are discovering that you do not need to prove your worth, you only need to honor it, and honoring it means making choices that support your healing, your peace, your future, and this is why certain doors are closing, not to hurt you but to protect you, because what no longer fits your growth must be released for something better to arrive, and release is not loss, it is space, and space is where new beginnings are born, and you are creating space now through courage, through honesty, through self-respect, and God says this space will be filled with opportunities that align with who you are becoming, not who you used to be, and this alignment will feel natural because it is rooted in your truth, and as you move forward, remember that you are not behind, you are on your path, and your path is unfolding exactly as it should, and every step you take, no matter how small, is moving you closer to a life that reflects your courage, your faith and your growth, and one day you will realize that staying was the bravest decision you ever made. Your soul is no longer begging for change, it is ready to create it, because something within you has awakened, a quiet strength that does not need validation, a steady faith that does not depend on circumstances, and God says this awakening is the result of every moment you chose not to quit, even when your heart was heavy, even when your dreams felt distant, even when your path felt unclear, and this is why your life is beginning to feel different. Because you are no longer waiting to be rescued, you are becoming the one who rises, and courage is no longer something you search for outside. It is now something that lives inside you, guiding your steps even when you feel uncertain, because true courage is not the absence of fear, it is the decision to move forward despite it, and you have been making that decision again and again through your perseverance, through your patience, through your willingness to grow, and this repetition has created a new identity within you, the identity of someone who trusts themselves, who honors their truth, who believes in their worth, and this belief is the foundation of everything you are becoming, because when you believe in yourself you open doors that doubt would have kept closed, and you allow opportunities to find you that fear would have pushed away, and you are learning that your energy is powerful because it shapes how you experience the world, and when your energy is rooted in faith, clarity, and self-respect, your life begins to reflect those qualities. Not instantly but inevitably, because inner alignment always precedes outer change, and you are aligning now, releasing old fears, releasing limiting beliefs, releasing the need for approval, and this release is creating space for a new way of living, a way rooted in intention rather than reaction, purpose rather than pressure, peace rather than chaos, and this is why your heart feels both lighter and braver, because you are no longer carrying what does not belong to you, and God says what you release makes room for what you are meant to receive, and receiving requires openness, trust, and courage, and you are developing all three, and this development is preparing you for a life that feels authentic, fulfilling, and aligned, and you are learning that success is not about becoming someone else, it is about becoming more of who you truly are, and who you truly are is resilient, thoughtful, compassionate, strong, and capable, and these qualities have been growing inside you through every challenge, every disappointment, every moment of doubt, and now they are guiding you forward with clarity and confidence, and this confidence is not loud, it is grounded, it does not seek approval, it seeks alignment, and alignment is the key to peace, because when your actions match your values, your life feels meaningful even when it is imperfect, and this meaning is what sustains you through difficult days, because you know why you are moving forward, and you know that your journey is not random. It is purposeful, and every step is shaping you into someone who can handle the blessings you are asking for with wisdom, gratitude, and humility, and this is why you must trust the timing of your life, because what arrives too soon can overwhelm you, and what arrives at the right time will strengthen you, and God says your time is coming not as a reward but as a reflection of who you have become, and this becoming is the true miracle, because you are no longer defined by your past, you are guided by your purpose, and this purpose is unfolding one courageous step at a time, and as you continue to move forward, remember that you are not alone, your journey is supported, your growth is seen, your courage is honored, and everything you want is indeed waiting on the other side of your courage, and you are already crossing that bridge with every brave choice you make.